600 subs! Hey guys, welcome to another episode of What Happened. It's that show where I talk about stuff that happened. And the first thing is, I just got over 600 subscriptions, and I don't believe that. It's crazy. I actually was going to make this video when I hit 500, like a week ago, but I got busy with work, and then just more of them kept coming in, and so I decided to make it today when I hit 600. It's crazy. So I really have to thank all of you viewers. I can't believe that you're actually following me. That's weird. But anyway, thank you so much. It really helps. I really love getting your thumbs up and your comments. And yeah, so thanks. So another cool thing that happened is that I've come across ways for artists to get to Japan for free. And I really have to thank Victor and his interview with Kemushichan for this information. And so what it is the AIR program, which is Artist in Residence. And this program has actually been going around for a couple hundred years, not just in Japan, but all over the world. Where, so say you have a country such as, I believe it actually started in France, so suppose you're in Paris or something and you want to bring artists to experience your culture. So they take artists from other places all over the world and bring them to their city and set them up with an apartment and a studio, place to work, and just let them do their work for a few months, or sometimes, it depends. It might be a few weeks, it might be a few months. But there are actually a whole bunch of these all over Japan. And there's a website, which I will link down below somewhere around here. And you can check that out. And it lists all the different places in Japan that do it. And a lot of them are actually looking for artists that are good, but are just beginning to get big in their field. So you don't have to be the very best artist in your field necessarily. Some of them you do, but a lot of them you don't. And it's great because you're not allowed to work while you're there in most cases, but they give you an apartment, like I said, and a studio to work in, and sometimes they give you gallery space, and they give you a stipend for living on, as well as a stipend for any kind of expenses that you might need for art supplies or video, travel, anything like that. And it's just really cool. And so I signed up for one that's the Arcus Program. And unfortunately I just heard about it just about 10 days before the deadline. So I really had very little time to actually get everything together and get it all submitted to them. And it started out, I had to write a 200-word essay basically describing what kind of art that I do. And then I had to also write an 800-word essay describing the project that I wanted to work on and the kind of things that I wanted to do while in Japan. The Arcus program lasts for 110 days, and they do cover expenses. They fly you over there. They give you a small apartment that's sparsely furnished, and yeah, you get a lot of studio space there, which was converted from an old school classroom. It just seems like a really cool opportunity. Unfortunately, since I just heard about it, I put together all my stuff, and I was finally able to mail the stuff out just 7 days before the deadline, and I don't think I made it, because the cheapest, or the only way I could afford to get the stuff mailed out there was the 7 to 10 day option in the mail, and I haven't heard back from them, so I think that I didn't actually make the deadline. But there are others. Unfortunately, most of them seem to have their submission deadlines in the winter or the spring, so I might have to wait a couple of months before I submit for another one. But it's really cool, and you should definitely check it out if you're an artist and you are interested in going to Japan to work. Keep in mind that it is not a vacation. You're not there to hang out the whole time. You are actually there to work. And the one at Arcus is in Moriya, and that is actually just very close to Tokyo. It's just about a half-hour train ride or drive north of Tokyo. Yeah, so you should definitely check that out if you're an art artist and you're interested in living there for a few months. So first up is an unfortunate story about an old woman in Hokkaido who has allegedly killed over 100 cats over the past 10 years. And that's really sad. She says that she was afraid that she wasn't going to have the money to feed them. And it kind of sucks. It's a shame, like, some older people, like, they just don't really have the cognitive abilities, I guess, to think things through properly. And, maybe they could, give the cats away, or, even just let it go as a stray or something. But, some people just don't think straight when they get to that certain age. And they even said that she had taken one kitten and put it in a bucket full of water and covered it over with a rock and left it for a couple of days. But that's a real shame. This woman got arrested, and hopefully, she has someone to care for her to make sure that these kind of things aren't happening in the future. It's really sad. So in some lighter news, there's this company, Rakuten, who is very similar to Amazon in Japan, but not quite as big. They have done something interesting that their entire company, all their emails and meetings, etc., is all done entirely in English, which is something very unique for a Japanese company. And they've recently announced that the average employee, according to this TOEIC testing system, has reached 802.6 points out of a possible 990, and so 800 is considered advanced English. So that's very good for the company, and it's gone up by it was 526 in 2010. So that's really interesting how they really increased that, and I think also for the Olympics, a lot of companies might be pushing to have more English and be more open towards foreigners and tourists. That's an interesting article over at the Japan Times. So yeah, you should check this out. Yeah, they really need to do this if they're going to compete globally, because obviously English is the most spoken language in the world. So as you may know, Japan's population is aging rapidly. And in this one prison, Oita prison in Kyushu, has found that they have 21% of their population is over 65 years old, and that number is rising rapidly. And actually, there was studies done recently for all over Japan that was saying that they're now producing more diapers for old people than for babies. Which it sounds funny, but that's actually pretty sad. It's not good for Japan's future. They need to start making more babies. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. This one prison has started a program where they're giving prisoners Nintendo DSs to play with and to try and increase their mental capacity. And it's funny because this reminds me of a story that I had read many years ago in Nintendo Power magazine about... must have been in the late 80s or something, where they were giving old people Nintendo systems. This was, of course, long before the DS, of course, but they were giving old people these Nintendo systems to play with, and they said it was actually giving a dramatic rise in their mental capabilities. So that's something that's apparently it's true back then, and it's still true today. So that says something for video games. So here's a story that's a little more artistic and still about Japan. There's a company called TBWA Hakukodo that is an ad agency who has come up with a cool ad for Suntory whiskey. And they created these ice sculptures that are solid blocks of really clear ice that they then did some like 3D printing kind of, where they took 3D objects and then used a CNC router to carve away until they get these really cool, intricate little sculptures that they can put inside the glass with the whiskey. And it took up to 6 hours to carve each one of them. But they look really cool. You should totally check these out. I'll put a link to the article in the description below, and you can see some of the pictures. So that's the end of this episode, and if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up, and just let me know if you heard any interesting stories that I might like, and let me know in the comments. And I really have to say again, thank you so much to all my new subscribers, and my old subscribers too. You guys are awesome. Thanks a lot. I really love talking to you in the comments, and see you next time.